Yes, I know the RNC was almost a week ago now, or at least the first day was, but I don't care. I gotta talk about Fake Lake. So we'll play Kari's clip and then we'll give her positions the dip.
Love it. Oh, wow. This room, America, I wish you were in this room with us. This is electric. Hello, America. Welcome, everybody who's watching at home, and welcome everybody in this great arena tonight. We love you all. Actually, wait a minute. I don't mean that. I don't welcome everybody in this meeting, in this room. The guys up in the fake news, frankly, all right, frankly, you guys up there in the fake news have worn out your welcome, right? You've worn it out, guys. You have spent the last 8 years lying about President Donald Trump and his amazing patriotic supporters. Actually, guys, they lie about everything. They've lied about Joe Biden's health, the economy, the laptop, the border. I could go on and on and on. But the really good news is that every day more and more people are turning off the fake news. And they're... That's right. And Americans are waking up to the truth about the disastrous Democrat policies pushed by Joe Biden and his favorite congressman, my opponent, Ruben Gallego. These guys, they're full of bad ideas. Just last week, Ruben Gallego voted to let the millions of people who poured into our country illegally cast a ballot in this upcoming election. Gallego and the Democrats have handed over control of my state, Arizona's border, to the drug cartels. And because of them, criminals and deadly drugs are pouring in, and our children are dying. Our children are getting their hands on these drugs and dying. I'll tell you, the hardest thing I've had to do on the campaign trail is talk to moms and dads who come up to me and tell me that their 19-year-old son has died because of fentanyl poisoning, or their 22-year-old daughter took a half a pill and she's gone. We are losing a generation of young people to this fentanyl crisis, and it's got to stop. The Grand Canyon State has become the fentanyl state, and it's not okay with this mom. I'm not okay with that. I don't think it's okay with that mom. I don't think it's okay with that mom. It doesn't have to be this way. The problems we face are huge, the problems caused by the Democrat Party. But the solutions, guys, they're really simple. First of all, stop the Biden invasion and build the wall. Easy. And while we're building the wall, let's kick Bidenomics to the curb and bring back the MAGAnomics. Is that okay? I miss the strong Trump economy. And because I'm a mama bear, I want to replace this indoctrination, this psychological abuse they're inflicting on our children with a real, solid, quality education. It's all common sense.
You know, she probably had the most memorable opening line of anyone that was there, as far out of all the speeches I saw. You know, actually, I don't mean that. The media lies. They lied about Biden's health, and they lied about the laptop, and they lied about, and it's funny because, again, it's memorable because she cuts herself off, interjects that she doesn't actually mean to welcome everybody, but also because of how inaccurate it is. I mean, if you want to say that Jill Biden and the rest of the Democratic Party leadership has hidden Biden's health, I think that's a valid criticism of the Democrats. And you wouldn't be wrong for having that position. And it's also one that I've taken and criticized them for as well. But to say that the media has pretended that Biden is healthy I don't think is true at all. I mean, some of these interviews have been pretty hard hitting in terms of the questions they ask him, and there's really no link between them having some sworn secrecy as to not mention that Biden does not look good or feel good or whatever. You know, especially after that debate performance where everyone was talking about how crazy it went for him. Now, getting into this fentanyl thing, I always have a position, which is that if politicians truly care about the effects of drug usage by people, they're going to put forward some policy. Now, I know she talks about immigration over and over. Oh, the border, the border, the border, the border, the border. But presuming that these drugs are still able to get here, the ones that are already here, were Lake someone that cared about preventing people from getting addicted to these things and then unfortunately passing away from them, wouldn't you see her supporting, I don't know, funding for mental health in some regard whatsoever? Her position kind of reminds me of how after there's, like, for example, a mass shooting, you'll hear Republicans talk about, besides thoughts and prayers, it wasn't the weapon that killed the person, it was their mental health. And then they, like, a few days or weeks pass and they never mention anything about mental health ever again, never try to actually pass anything that does something to correct the problem because they're not interested in actually fixing the issue. And I said this before, isn't it sad that, like, you look at young people and the problems that they have, right? These higher rates of, suicide and all the young people that get killed in these car accidents. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that affects them, but none of this will get addressed by Lake if she becomes the next senator from Arizona. And speaking of senator from Arizona, she gave Gallego probably one of the biggest amounts of free advertising he could have ever received, because the one thing I've always said about her is that she is, without question, more well known than Gallego is, at least in terms of national politics. I can't speak for Arizona, the state, but I knew who she was from well over 2 years ago when she ran that winnable governor race and lost, and proceeded to say that she had won, year after year, just constantly spread misinformation. Gallego is a really little known congressman who is out fundraising her, 9-2. No, he raised like 9 million when she raised 2 million, but by well over, by a very large margin, in spite of her being well known by people, which shows that it's both a combination of people know who she is, they just don't want to donate to her, and also people really do not want her to win that race. So she gave Gallego really good free advertising by mentioning him during the convention where the most eyes will probably be on her ever. And man, when you look at just, because Lake doesn't like admitting this, but the main thing that she's known for is, besides her, just as a politician anyway, is losing a winnable governor race and then spending several years pretending that she won. Whether that's these court cases that got thrown out, going on TV and making all these different false statements about both that election and the 2020 presidential election being stolen, just false stuff. And it's like, isn't it sad that this politician who has been fact-checked by everybody will sit here and say that the media are the liars? They're the ones who are spreading misinformation, when her whole career as a politician has been misinformation. You lie about Biden's immigration policy being so drastically different from Trump's when it's really not. Like, minus the border wall, all the same stupid stuff is there, ICE, all of that garbage has been retained. And a lot of left-wing people have pushed him to take a more forgiving policy towards illegal immigrants, but I digress. And it's like, you sit here and you lie about that. You pretend that the media is stopping people from knowing what Biden's health is when they were the main ones criticizing him during any time his health seems to deteriorate in public. And it just shows you that, like, they really have this cult of personality where it is us versus them. You can't, like, You're supposed to believe that this politician who is very, very obviously out for her own career is more trustworthy than the people that just report on this stuff. And she had the nerve, the audacity to call herself a mama bear. BS bear is the actual nickname she should have, and I can't wait for her to lose that Senate race so she can either finally fade into obscurity or, in all likelihood, go around saying that it was stolen and then try to run for governor again or some other position where it's just going to keep being apparent the voters do not want her, and neither does Trump, which is why she went from being a possible VP contender to barely being able to talk at a time where people would even be bothering to watch.